The kids know exactly what's going to happen to their generation and the generation after, that the adults at the moment who are in positions of power are ignoring everything. The kids are inspiring me. It's as simple as that.
It's actually really important to stay hopeful, and I think that action comes from hope.
This country could make a real difference if it took a determined change. This is like a war.
We are 15 young people from London.
Climate change is a block on our future, and it's only going to affect us.
Sometimes we feel hopeless and scared about what will happen to our generation.
It makes us angry at politicians. They have the money and the power to do something, but they don't.
But we are still hopeful. That's why we decided to make a documentary to find out what can young people do to fight climate change.
Hi everyone.
We wanted to talk to people who are already engaged in fighting climate change and people who disagree.
We started by speaking to Matt Hope, an environmentalist and editor-in-chief of DeSmog.
What effects do you think climate change might have on the young people of our generation?
You're going to be experiencing the impacts of climate change much more. So that might be things like extreme temperatures, so both very, very hot, which is in parts of the UK right now, but also then very, very cold sometimes. And of course, when things across the globe get much worse and people can't live in their countries anymore, they have to move. And then that means that they're going to move to places that are easier to live, so places like Europe, places like the UK. And that means we're going to be dealing with all these people who are known as climate refugees coming into our country, which hopefully will welcome with open arms because we've helped to cause that problem. But at the same time, it's a really tricky problem to deal with. So yeah, absolutely, I think young people are going to be dealing with this, which is why I think people like Greta Thunberg and other school strikers are so important, because they're putting forward that perspective, and you guys as well. Even just having this conversation is so important.
What do you think is the most effective thing we can do as a young citizen to tackle climate change?
I think doing exactly what you are doing, which is talking about it. Talk about it with everybody you can. Learn about it and then help spread the word about it so that everybody understands just how serious it is and just how serious it is going to be for you. I hope you all do things like, walk and cycle rather than get in cars. You all seem like very conscious young people, so I'm sure you're doing what you can. But unless you can get everyone on a really large scale to also be taking these actions, then ultimately climate change is going to happen.
What's your opinion on Extinction Rebellion?
Again, a really good question. I think Extinction Rebellion have done amazing things in terms of raising awareness. So there have been NGOs and campaign groups around for 50-odd years, working on the environment, for the last 20 working quite hard on climate change. But they haven't managed to do anything like what Extinction Rebellion managed to do over the course of about 6 months in terms of raising awareness. So I think in terms of that goal, I think they've done a really good job. Now, as the last question really asked, the question is, well, what is next? What happens now? I feel like the fact that we're having this conversation, I feel like the fact that actually it was in the newspapers and the news quite a lot in the last couple of months, means that awareness has been raised to a certain level. So what now? And then the big question for Extinction Rebellion is, okay, well, how do they try and make sure that having raised the awareness, something is actually done about it? So I think I have an awful lot of respect for what they've managed to do in terms of getting people talking about climate change.
Listening to Matt Hope speak made us feel inspired and hopeful, as if we can make a change. We just need people, adults in power really, to listen to us. A few days later, we went to an Extinction Rebellion rally. We wanted to find out the answer to our question, as well as other people's views and opinions. At the rally, there was a people's assembly where anyone could stand up and speak. Chloe gave a talk about our project.
In our documentary, we hope to address the question, are young people capable of solving climate change? This question interested us the most out of the various ones that were put forward, because it's our futures that are of course going to be affected. It are our futures that are all going to change because of issues that have existed since we were even born. And so yeah, that's what we hope to do. We're here today, we're interviewing various people. Anyone who wants to be interviewed, or anyone who thinks can help solve our question, please come find us. We're also going to be going to London Fields later on today to talk to more people there and take part in all the various things. So yeah, do come talk to us. Thank you very much.
When we were at the rally, we met one of our teachers, Miss Manville.
the sort of situation that we're in at the moment, in the sort of the climate crisis, we really don't have an option to not get involved. I've sort of been sort of on the periphery of sort of other environmental sort of action over the last couple of years, and I feel that actually the sort of impact that Extinction Rebellion has had in the last 6 months, 9 months, has been sort of more than I've seen anything before. Yes, of course, education is important in terms of qualifications and so forth, but I think actually schools should be and can be more than that. And so as an educator, I feel it's part of my responsibility to prepare my students for the future, and there is no future if we don't sort of tackle this now. So I think it is or should be fundamental.
Really avoid it, can you? It's absolutely everywhere, and if you are not doing something to take action or be a better human in this environment, then you are literally walking down with your blinkers on, because you can't. Everyone knows it's happening, and I think we all need to do something.
I think that it's really important for each individual to really do everything they can, and spread the word and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and not cover it up,
Going to the Extinction Rebellion march made me feel hopeful for the future, as there were many people there who were very passionate about climate change, and it made me feel like we could definitely stop it. Although there are lots of people who say that climate change and science are wrong, unfortunately, these people will influence others and threaten what we stand for.
I just found something. Someone is like trying to annoy Greta so much. Someone called Julia Hartley Brewer said, "Hi Greta, I've just booked some long-haul flights for my family to enjoy some winter sun on the beach this Christmas. Level of guilt being felt 0%.
Oh my god.
They're taking the mick out of her so much.
She's not gaining anything
No,
out
they're not
of
even
that.
doing
She's
anything.
just doing it to be mean.
Yeah, no, the people that are like being mean towards Greta hasn't done anything towards them, so I don't understand
Yeah.
why they should be like rude to her and just mock her.
It's really stupid.
I mean,
it's unnecessary.
Unnecessarily just horrible.
She's 16.
Yeah.
She's still a kid.
Or someone replied to it.
Yeah, Philip
Said,
Pullman.
"You have never done and will never do in all of your life anything 100 as valuable and important as Greta Thunberg has done already."
Yeah. She didn't. No one needed to know that she was doing that, but then she decided to tweet about it, just to be cruel. Like, I've booked some plane tickets. Like, just. She's not gaining anything out of that, and I don't even understand why she posts that.
There's something that would affect us as well. So any child, pigtailed or otherwise, who protested against these problems would quickly be crushed by the system. They would be told by their teachers, quite rightly, I think, that these were matters for grown-ups and politicians, not school children.
Honestly,
Yeah,
right.
these are the reasons why they're against the young climatiers, just because we're younger than them and we're, well, essentially weaker than them. But if we all combine together, we are more powerful than them.
Yeah.
And these climate change deniers, they are writing about it and they're making people know that it's just that it's fake. But they are actually spreading the word that we are there and we're not going to back down until something happens.
We have already seen other young people such as Greta Thunberg making a huge difference with the climate strikes and Fridays for Future movement.
And if a few children can get headlines all over the world just by not going to school, then imagine what we could all do together if we really wanted to.
This is impacting on politicians and showing that we will not accept people in power ignoring what is happening. As young people, we can make a change if we convince others to take part. For example, we are already encouraging our families to eat less meat and use less plastic, live a healthier lifestyle by cycling more.
However, with all the people who are helping to fight climate change, there are lots of people in power who are stopping us from change and from people hearing our voices. Until these world leaders listen to us, our planet will be under threat.
Even though there are so many politicians that deny climate change, there are more of us than them.
Our voices will be heard throughout Parliament. We are the future, so we must help save the future. Parliament will not be able to stop all of us. Make our voices heard. Make your voice heard. You are not alone. We are the young Climateers.
And if you belong to that small group of people who feel threatened by us, then we have some very bad news for you. Because this is only the beginning.
Anything about why we're here? Do you know about climate change or anything like that?
Well,
And what do you think about it?
I do know a lot about dinosaurs exist.
Do you know a lot about dinosaurs?
Yes, I do.
That's really cool.